Hey, what's going on, everyone? I want to make a follow-up video to the scalping video I did yesterday. Now, it was brought to my attention that I had the 20 SMA plotted on that scalping video. Again, human error. That just goes to show you that you can essentially use any moving average. You know, some moving averages you might need to wait a little bit longer because they take a little bit longer to set up. But in this video, again, let's put on the 9 EMA and let's just make sure we have the 9. So I'm going to right click here, edit, study, moving average exponential 9. You guys can see it there. So this is the 9 EMA that you see plotted. The same things and same rules and same setups are going to apply. The ranges might be a little bit smaller on the 9 from the 20 SMA, but in theory, everything else is the same. So what I want to show you guys here is disregard this red block here. This is pre-market action. You can see the market's going to open here for me in California, 6:30 in the morning. So I'm going to run through very quickly. You know, if you want to be a scalper and you want to play something like the 1 minute time frame, can you find entries? Of course. Can you find entries on the 2 minute? Of course. The 5, the 3, the 15, of course. It all depends on what fits your trading personality the best, right? And what can you do on a day in and day out basis that you can implement each and every single day. Because remember, we want trading to be boring. I don't care if we're looking at the 15-second chart or we're looking at the weekly chart. We want trading to be boring. Now, what that means is we want to be able to sit back, know what we're trying to identify, get into these moves and take some profits, you know, and cut our losses when we get them. We never want to get blown out of a trade. We never want to lose our entire account balance. So first things first that you guys need to figure out is what's your position sizing, right? What are you comfortable losing per trade? Is it $100? Are you going to use, you know, a certain percentage of your account? Are you going to use just a fixed dollar amount? Once you figure out what you're willing to lose per trade and then per day, then you can kind of figure out, okay, this is how many contracts I want to play. I can play one mini contract, or I can play one micro contract. I can play 3 micro contracts. That decision is going to need to be made by you, the trader, because everyone's account size is different. Everyone, especially if you're taking evaluation challenges with these prop firms, or you're in a funded account, or you're in a personal account, everyone's at a different stage. So make sure you decide what's the best amount of risk that you can take on a day in and day out basis and stick to that risk. So let's look at the market open here at 6:30 in the morning. We're looking at the NQ. We're looking at the 1 minute time frame. Again, we're looking at the 9 EMA. There's one particular strategy that I see here that can be taken. And that particular strategy, that particular setup is a break over pre-market highs. Now, whether you call it pre-market highs, whether you call it London session, whether you call it, you know, overnight session, whatever you want to call it, Asia session, I don't really care what you call it or what frame you're looking at. What I'm looking at is when New York opens for me at 6:30 in the morning, do we break that previous pre-market highs? Now, again, guys, I came from the options and the stocks and equity side of things. So I'm always going to reference to overnight session highs or, you know, London session. I'm always going to just reference it as pre-market. Okay. For me, it's pre-market because it's pre-New York open. Okay. The terminology can be different depending on what background you came from or what sessions you've been trading. Pre-market highs was taken out right off the bell. Now, if you're an aggressive scalper, you can definitely get into that. How are we going to manage our risk? Our risk is going to be managed when we break pre-market highs. We need to see that high be put in. You can either do one of two things. You can take the first entry on the initial break over pre-market highs. Again, just remember that the first candles, first few candles can be very volatile, up, down, up, down, up, down. You can take the first entry. If you do take the first entry over the break of pre-market highs, you have to use a close under the 9 EMA or a previous 5-minute candle. That's it, okay? Close under the previous 5-minute candle or a close under the 9 EMA if you're taking the first break. Now, if you're not taking the first break and you want the first minute candle to close that 1 minute opening range, then what you are going to do, move this out the way. What you are going to do is you're going to set a little bit of a guideline here over that first 1 minute candle. When that first 1 minute candle range gets broken, you're going to enter the trade. Now, your stop loss is going to be a previous 5-minute candle or a close below the 9 EMA. Very, very simple. So if you look from a price of 16,444 to an entry price of 16,461, you're giving yourself X amount of points risk. Now, what I'm going to do in this particular situation, because we're scalping and because we're just looking for momentum, normally people who are scalping, they're playing a little bit heavier size. They're looking to take a little bit, taking profits a little bit sooner. What you want to do is then look at this particular move and take your risk essentially from 16,444 into 16,461. We're looking at about a 15, 16, 17 point risk max. So what I'm going to tell myself is I'm going to cut that risk in half. Again, you're not going to get full one-to-ones. Can you get full one-to-ones? Sure. But not all the time are you going to get those full one-to-ones. I'm going to take that in half and I'm going to say, if I can get 6, 7, 8 points, I'm happy. Okay, I'll wait for the next setup. So if you can see here, once we break that 16,461, we put in a high all the way up here to 16,471. Guys, you're getting almost 15 points in 1 minute. Now, if you would have got it on the sweep here before it pulled back and you have like a hard take profit, or you can execute at a very high level very quickly, you can do math quickly, you could have essentially got into this 1 minute play and took in 10, 11, 12, 13 points on the initial run up. Now, if you are looking for the next setup would come when you see us put in a high, right? Notice how we put in a high, then we consolidate, there's a new high here, and then we start to pull back. We don't have any real setup. So what I'm going to do is then mark out this structure high. And then with this structure high, this will be a follow-up long position when we break this structure high. So that line is going to stay on my chart. This resistance is going to stay on my chart. Now, what we're also going to do is any change in trends below the 9 EMA, any change in trends, we will look for that. So you're going to notice here, you get a close below the 9 EMA at around 23.5 point range, right? So this range on this one particular candle on a 1 minute time frame is 23.5 points. So what is the thought process? If we cut this in half, 23 points, let's call it 20, because it's 23.5 points, let's call it 24 points. Half of 24 points is 12 points, okay? Do we get 12 points? Like if we're looking for 10, 11, 12 points, half of the range, do we get it? Well, let's find out, because again, not every trade's going to work. And I want to go through these before, you guys sit and you think to yourself, well, here's a strategy, it should work every time. Not the case, my friends. It doesn't always work every single time. And that's what you have to be comfortable with as a trader, is that not every setup always works, especially when you're scalping. So if you look at the entry price below this close below the 9 EMA, I'm going to go ahead and draw this price level line here. Get a little accurate price. That low is 16,462. Okay, so 16,462 is the low. Once we confirm that low, we want to get short. Now this candle goes all the way to a low of 16,446. So from a price of 16,462 to a price of 16,446 is 20 points, my friends, on the sweep. Now, yes, does it come racing back? Does it rip down there and rip right back up? Of course. This is where your newer trader is going to get stuck. You're going to get trapped because you're going to get into this play. You're going to be up 8 points. You're going to be up 10 points, 12 points. You're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to make all this money. And boom, it quickly wicks back up on you. Now you're trapped. Again, you have to be able to process in real time quickly. If you are, one second, guys. One second, let me send this text out real quick. If you guys are going to take this approach where you're going to scalp the 1 minute time frame, you better damn be well sure you can do math relatively quickly. I'm not saying down to the exact tick, exact point, but you better be able to do math very, very quickly. You better be able to process information very, very quickly. You better be able to execute very, very quickly. There better not be no hesitation in your game. When you make a decision, you stick to that decision and you stay in the trade until you get stopped out or you take profit. So notice, again, let me break this down. On the 1 minute time frame, we close below the 9 EMA. There is a 23.5 point range. As soon as this candle closes, quickly, you need to tell yourself 23.5. Okay, 24. I'm just going to round up really quickly. Half of 23.5 or half of 24 is 12 points. If I can get 10, 11, 12 points on this scalp, I'm going to take it. We break that price, we confirm that low, we get in, and as we start to go down, again, from a price of 16,462, as we start to get in and we go down into 52, it's right here, let me drag it, 52 is 10 points, 11 points, 12 points, 13 points. Guys, you need to be thinking about taking profits. Whatever the range is, cut it in half, take your profits there, get in, get green, get the hell out. I'm telling you, we want to come into the party in the back door. We don't want anyone to see that we're home, or we don't want anyone to see that we're coming. We want to sneak in. We want to be like a lion, like a cheetah that's kind of waiting in the weeds, and then we want to pounce on our prey. But you got to be able to execute at a very high level very quickly. And again, I'll just be completely honest. Not a lot of traders, especially retail traders and newer traders that are doing these prop firm evaluations, can manage that. But again, there's some of you guys out there that can. And if you can, so be it. Now let's look at the next play that kind of sets up here. You get a little bit of a confirmation back over the 9 EMA here. If you were to set a 1-bar stop system, meaning when we confirm, you use the previous 5-minute candle as a stop, you get put into a little bit of drawdown. The range on this candle is 14 points. So again, size accordingly. Don't go out there and play 10 mini contracts on a 14-point potential stop loss. Again, because I come from stocks and options, I'm going to call them points. Okay, points. Again, if you're going to use ticks, you got to times it times 4. Okay, so times it times 4. I use points. It's just terminology for me. It's better for me. I can't sit here very quickly and analyze how many ticks unless I got a tick chart up and all this other stuff. I'm not doing that. I'm not just points, guys. Points for if we go from 16,000, 465, and we go to 16,466, that's 1 point. That's 4 ticks. Okay, so do the math accordingly. That's why I'm telling you, if you can't process data quickly, you're going to get run over in this game. So this is a 14-point move here. If I can manage to get what, guys? 7 points, 6 points, 8 points, is that worth a good trade? If I'm going to put up 14 points as a stop loss? Okay, so let's see. We get confirmation here at 6:43 in the morning. It comes all the way back, almost stops you out, guys, because where's your stop going to be? Your stop's going to be the previous 5-minute candle on entry. So if we're going to enter here, why are we entering here? Some people are going to think, well, it's a red candle. Why would we enter there? Well, guys, it did sweep the highs of the candle that closed over the 9. It swept them. So in real time, you're not going to know that this candle's red. You're going to be jumping in when you sweep the highs. So again, you're going to sit through a little bit of drawdown here for 2 minutes, and then boom, we explode. And we get over that initial candle that we're in at 16,474, and it goes all the way up to 16,485. So on this particular candle here, would you have been able to make 6, 7, 8 points? There's another winner, guys. You see how you're starting to stack wins? Again, it's going to be up to you. When are you going to stop trading on the day? Because many of you guys, you might win 2 or 3 trades. You get so happy, then you oversize and then you give it all back. Don't do that. Make sure you're stopping the day either at a very, very small loss, or you're stopping the day with some moderate wins, whether it's $50, $100, or whether it's $500. Make sure you're compounding every day. Let's look at the next setup here. This is a 20-point range here. It does confirm here. Do you get your 20 points? I don't really know if you get your 20 points. Does it really stop you out on your 1 bar? No, it doesn't. But again, like if you look at it, this does, if you're looking for that quick pop, what I would essentially wait for, because we have this resistance here, I want to see this resistance get broken. So yes, is there a valid setup here back over the 9? Sure. 485 would have been the entry. It comes all the way up to 494. This is a 20-point candle. You would have been able to take around 9-10 points on it if you're smart. Like if you're smart in a sense where you know that you have prior resistance here. Okay, but a lot of you guys will get into this play expecting it just to break. I get it. So again, could you have been stuck in a trade? Maybe. It is what it is. The short position back below the 9 EMA is 15 points. What am I gonna do, guys? If it's 15 points, if I can get 6, 7, 8 points, I'm gonna take it. Do you get it? 100%. There's another winner. Now here's the play that I really like, because we have resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. I want to take this trade once we break this prior structure high, this prior swing high, this prior swing high. I love these type of plays. As we shoot through, we put in this new high. It's going to give me an entry. It's going to give me an entry once we confirm. So once we break this structure, and this is the last setup that I'm going to give you guys, the last example. Once we break this structure, we put in a high, your entry price is over 16,506. You get confirmation here. Now let's look at the range. The range is 32 points. So let's just cut it in half, 30, or let's just cut it down a little bit to make math easier on ourselves. 30 points. If I can manage to get 15, 16, 17 points, I'm going to take my profits. Do we get it? We go all the way up from 506 to a price of 519, and then all the way up to a price of 531. Sure, could you be holding runners and get more? Of course. But what the point I'm making is that if you take the range, you cut it in half, you look for your entries, you use a previous 5-minute candle as a stop, and you execute quickly, you do math quickly in your head, and you have confidence in your skills, you would have made, 2 or 3 or 4 winning trades here. Maybe this trade here would have got someone because they didn't take it at 8, 9 points, and then it pulled back, they got scared, they stopped out. So what, right? You won here, you won here on this one. You won here on this one, and now you had another big winner here. You should be profitable on the day. Again, you get more setups in the day. I'm not going to go through this one. I'm not going to go through this one. You can clearly see this is a winner. This is a winner. This one never confirms. This is a winner. So again, if you like the 1 minute time frame and you understand that you're not going to get crazy gains, but you're not looking for crazy gains, you're just looking for quick momentum. Scalping equals quick momentum. All you're doing is scalping a momentum move. It's not saying that you're getting in on some, complete reversal. It's not saying that you're getting in on a new complete trend. We're scalping existing momentum. Okay. Hope this video makes sense. 1 minute time frame, 9 EMA. Let me know what you guys think. Try it out. See if it works for you. If you want to trade with me and see some of these setups live in real time, get together with the rest of the team. My link is down in the description box below. Join evolutiontraders.com. I'll see all of you guys on the inside.